Lance Stroll's place in Formula One has always sparked controversy, but lately, it feels like we've hit a boiling point. He's one of the most talked about drivers on the grid, and not for the reasons any athlete wants to be. He's not winning, he's not improving, and he's certainly not connecting with fans or the media. Yet, he remains planted in that Aston Martin seat year after year. And everyone knows why. The elephant in the paddock is simple. His dad owns the team. It's an open secret, one that no one inside the sport seriously denies anymore. But now, with 2026 looming and massive structural changes on the horizon, people are finally asking, will Lawrence Stroll sacrifice performance for family loyalty, or will Aston Martin finally do what's right for the team and the sport? Because right now, Lance isn't just underperforming, he's actively dragging the team's momentum down. Let's start with his recent attitude. Across multiple race weekends this season, Stroll has appeared checked out, indifferent, bored, not just with racing, but with even showing up. Take his media appearances in Canada. Reporters asked about his wrist injury, a relevant topic considering it's affected his performance. Stroll brushed it off, citing medical privacy. Fair enough. But his entire vibe was cold and dismissive, with almost no engagement. Journalists noticed, fans noticed, even Sport Bild, one of Germany's top motorsport publications, called him out. They analyzed the number of words per answer he gave in a press conference, and it was embarrassing. While Lewis Hamilton and Franco Colapinto spoke with energy and engagement, Lance lounged on the couch, chewing gum, answering in robotic sound bites. His average answer? Just 33.72 words. That might not sound like much, but in a sport where communication is everything, where drivers are ambassadors, strategists, and spokespersons all at once, it matters. The worst part? He doesn't seem to care. Compare that to someone like Max Verstappen, also famously distant with the media. But Max earns that right by dominating on track. He's a generational talent. Lance isn't even in the same league, and never has been. And it's not just the press and fans calling it out. Former drivers have had enough too. Timo Glock recently gave one of the most honest assessments we've heard yet. When asked if he'd re-sign Lance for 2026, his answer was brutally direct. Absolutely not. He explained, if you look at Stroll's qualifying record, he's never had the upper hand against a teammate. His defeats have been consistent and clear. Occasionally, he has a weekend where it looks like he's closing the gap, but over a full season, he's always miles behind. He's right. Alonso is 43 years old. He's won 2 world championships. He's dragging that Aston Martin to results Lance can't match, even with equal machinery. And yet, Lance gets a free pass every time. Why? Because no one at the team dares challenge Lawrence Stroll. He controls the budget, he controls the boardroom, and as long as he calls the shots, Lance's seat is safe. Which brings us to one of the most frustrating aspects of all of this. Aston Martin is on the brink of becoming a top-tier team. Let's look at the moves they've made. They signed Adrian Newey, the most successful designer in F1 history. They secured a full works engine deal with Honda. They've invested millions into a state-of-the-art factory in Silverstone. Everything is in place to become a world championship contender by 2026. Everything, except the driver lineup. Because while Alonso continues to outperform expectations, he won't be around forever. And if Stroll continues on this trajectory, Aston Martin will enter a new era with half a team and half a chance. Just look at the races this season. In Barcelona, Stroll was eliminated in Q2 with a half-second gap to Alonso. He stormed back to the garage and reportedly broke equipment in frustration. It was déjà vu for fans who remember Qatar 2023, when he was eliminated in Q1 and shoved his own trainer in anger. That's not passion, that's entitlement, and it's allowed to fester because no one holds him accountable. And then there's the recent Montreal GP. After finishing outside the points, Stroll told the media he didn't expect to be fast again in 2025. I feel slow, he said. I know we're slow, and I don't expect that to change. Compare that to Alonso, who was thrilled about the upgrades and praised the team for progress. Same car, same track, completely different mindset. When asked about the upgrades, Lance said, "Maybe Fernando's getting good results because he feels good. I don't know. I don't feel anything. That's not the energy of a future world champion. That's the energy of a guy who doesn't want to be there, but won't leave because he doesn't have to. And that's a problem, because Aston Martin needs results." Let's rewind for a second. Remember Lance's debut season with Williams in 2017? He scored 40 points. He made it onto the podium in Baku, a huge result for a rookie. There was promise. There was hope. But it never evolved. He hasn't grown. He hasn't become more consistent. He hasn't delivered the kind of performance you expect from a driver in a top team. So, what happens next? Well, Aston Martin's future is no longer entirely in Lawrence Stroll's hands. With Honda coming on board, there's a new power dynamic. Honda has made it clear they expect to be involved in decisions beyond just the power unit. They want say in the driver lineup, just like they had at Red Bull. They want a championship-level team, and if that means replacing Lance, they'll push for it. And don't forget, Honda is still tight with Max Verstappen. If he ever leaves Red Bull, and the rumors won't go away, Aston Martin could be his destination. They've got the people, the factory, the future tech. They just don't have the driver pairing. And if not Max, there are other options. George Russell's future with Mercedes is uncertain. If Verstappen joins Toto Wolff, Russell could be squeezed out, and Aston Martin could become the perfect place for him to lead a team. That opens another question. If Aston signs Russell, does Lance get dropped, or does Alonso retire? The truth is, they'd likely push Alonso out to make space. He's older, he's expensive, but that would also expose the imbalance, because whoever partners Lance will immediately show how far off the pace he really is. The only wild card? Yuki Tsunoda, a Honda Academy driver. He's grown a lot in recent years and could be a candidate for a Honda-backed seat, but it's still a long shot. What's not a long shot? Pressure. Pressure from sponsors, pressure from the FIA, pressure from within Honda. The narrative around Lance is reaching critical mass, and Aston Martin can't afford to ignore it forever. So here's the question. Will Lawrence Stroll make the hard choice? Will he put the team first and his son second? Because as of right now, Aston Martin is a rocket ship with a loose bolt in the cockpit. They have everything needed to succeed, but success starts at the top, and if the top keeps protecting the weakest link, they'll never break through. So what do you think? Is Lance Stroll's time in F1 finally coming to an end? Should Aston Martin go all in for Russell, Verstappen, or another proven driver? And will Lawrence Stroll ever step back and let the team reach its full potential? Let us know what you think in the comments. And while you're at it, check out the next video on your screen to see which drivers are best positioned to make a surprise move in 2026.